Things don't seem to be looking very good for the Captain Marvel film, slated to be released in 2019. It's not so much the quality of the film, as we haven't seen much beyond the trailer that has this film being at risk of becoming another Ghostbusters 2016, but rather it's the way it's being framed in the media and concerns over the film's lead actress. For 10 years, the MCU has had a relatively stable record of success, culminating in the first part of Infinity War earlier this year. It's done this with entertaining movies that generally appeal to everyone. While perhaps not being masterpieces on the level of Citizen Kane or The Godfather, I've still enjoyed every entry so far. Yes, there have been some feminist and social justice aspects included within some of the films, but they never took over and can easily be overlooked. I did have some concerns earlier this year when Black Panther was about to be released. Again, due largely to the way the media was framing it from within the lens of social justice. I think what saved it was the strength of the trailer. It looked awesome. And, while there were indeed some SJW elements included, the movie overall proved to be one of the strongest entries to date. Also, the main actors were generally likable, and, well, capable of acting. The situation with Captain Marvel, however, is that it is in danger of becoming the first flop for the MCU. While nobody had any major problems with the cast of Black Panther, this cannot be said for Brie Larson. Many people were turned off Larson a few months ago when she proclaimed that she, quote, doesn't want to hear what 40-year-old white dudes have to say about a movie for women of color, when referring to the critical and box office failure that was A Wrinkle in Time. She stated, quote, it really sucks that reviews matter, but reviews matter. We are expanding to make films that reflect the people who buy movie tickets. I do not need a 40-year-old white dude to tell me what didn't work for him about A Wrinkle in Time. It wasn't made for him. I want to know what the film meant to women of color, to biracial women, to teen women of color, to teens that are biracial. So, you're expanding to make films that reflect people who buy tickets, and that doesn't include 40-year-old white dudes. Apparently, Larson doesn't understand that the purpose of the entertainment industry is to make money. A Wrinkle in Time didn't bomb because white dudes said not very nice things about it. It bombed because it sucked. It bombed because it was poisoned by feminist SJW BS, which is now turning audiences off in droves. Needless to say, these comments haven't done much to endear Larson to a good chunk of the MCU's core audience. I don't know much about Captain Marvel, other than she definitely is one of the lesser-known Marvel heroes. I know I never purchased a Captain Marvel comic book when I was a kid in the 80s, like I did with most other current MCU heroes. We know that Kevin Feige said a couple years ago that Captain Marvel will be the MCU's most powerful hero. Let's unpack this quote. All the Marvel characters have flaws to them. All of them have a deep humanity to them. And Captain Marvel, she is as powerful a character as we've ever put in a movie. Her powers are off the charts, and when she's introduced, she will be by far the strongest character we've ever had. It's important then to counterbalance that with someone who feels real. She needs to have humanity to tap into, and Brie can do that. Now again, forgive me if I'm getting this wrong, but it seems that Larson's character is being poised to be perfect and all-powerful. This sounds a little too much like Rey to me. Remember the quote about someone who feels real, because I'm going to touch on that again shortly. I think there was good cause for concern when the Entertainment Weekly issue was released, featuring Captain Marvel on the cover with the caption, quote, "The future is female. Your very first look at the galaxy's newest and most powerful star." This looks like Star Wars all over again. You can't really call this a sexism thing. The MCU already has a powerful female character in the form of Black Widow. You also have other characters like the Wasp. I personally wanted to see a Black Widow movie. Why aren't we getting this as the first movie that centers solely on a female superhero? Scarlett Johansson is one of the best and most charismatic actresses out there, and SJWs hate her because apparently she appropriated stuff or something. Maybe that's one of the reasons why we are getting this instead. If they wanted to go with Captain Marvel, then they should have put a little more thought into casting. Instead, they decided to go with Brie Larson. Apparently, she won an Oscar for Room in 2015. I haven't seen it, nor do I intend to see it, so I can't declare it to be neither good nor bad. But I think 2015 was around the time that the Oscars started to become based on wokeness points more than anything else, so I really don't care what she won. Then, in 2017, she decided not to clap for Casey Affleck when she presented him with the Best Actor Oscar because of sexual harassment allegations. These were just allegations, Brie. To the best of my knowledge, nothing was proven. You know, we have this whole innocent till proven guilty thing. There's a process for these things. This level of disrespect shows just what kind of person we are dealing with. Now let's talk about the trailer and the fallout. Brie Larson only seems to have one facial expression, which can best be described as bored and disinterested. A trailer is supposed to get you interested in seeing the movie. What we see in this trailer is the same facial expression over and over again. I was much more interested in Samuel L. Jackson than I was in Larson. She was rightfully criticized. Show some emotion, for Christ's sake. When faced with criticism for demonstrating a complete lack of emotion, Larson fired back in the same way that most feminists do. According to Polygon, that wonderfully non-biased rag, Larson is, quote, quickly becoming the hero that we need, even if we don't deserve her. Really, Polygon, do tell us more. Larson is apparently, quote, already dealing with an issue faced by other women in her position, juvenile opinions from anonymous men on the internet. In this case, a fist-waving crop of petulant fans upset that Larson's Captain Marvel character doesn't seem to smile. Funny, I don't really see the likes of Sigourney Weaver, Linda Hamilton, or Scarlett Johansson having to endure this. And Brie, I guess we all just imagined all those people complaining about Henry Cavill's depressing Superman. The criticism wasn't that you don't smile, it's that you don't have any facial expressions or emotions at all. It's called acting, and you seem to just not give a shit. She then decided to make a mockery of the MCU's biggest heroes. Yes, Brie, they aren't smiling in their posters, but at least they are capable of showing emotion. Talk about missing the point. The criticism was not based on gender, but of course, knowing your mindset, that's the first place you went. The criticisms were valid, but I guess you can't take criticism. What you've done is piss off a large portion of the MCU fanbase. I've seen most of the MCU movies in the theater, some multiple times, but I'm pretty sure I'll be skipping this one. This could actually end up being very bad for the MCU, as they are in the middle of a transitional phase, with most of its original actors rumored to be leaving in the near future. For 10 years, the MCU seemed unstoppable. Could this be an early sign that this track record could be coming to an end? Brie Larson could potentially bring the whole thing down, even if the film isn't bad. People are tired of ideology and identity politics being thrust into everything, and they are tired of being insulted based on their race and gender. There will be a time, sooner rather than later I hope, that this all comes to an end, after the major studios start to realize how much money they are losing because of this crap. They should have learned from Star Wars, but apparently they didn't. Brie Larson comes off as inherently unlikable. Mix that with the performance that, based on the trailer anyway, could be given by a statue is not improving things. We know that Robert Downey Jr. is coming to the end of his career with the MCU after being at its center for the past decade. I'm greatly concerned that Kevin Feige may be positioning Captain Marvel to take the place of Iron Man as the head figure of the MCU. Kevin, you're a smart man. Your handling of the MCU has made it one of the biggest success stories in film history. People from all walks of life love these movies because you focus on characters and stories over politics. Do not go down this path. Again, I reference Star Wars. It was one of the biggest franchises of all time, and The Force Awakens was one of the biggest movies of all time. Then along came The Last Jedi, and it alienated fans to the point that Solo actually ended up losing money. This would have been unthinkable a year ago. The same could very easily happen to the MCU. If Brie Larson pisses enough people off, it could have disastrous implications for the MCU going forward, not only for Captain Marvel, but also for Infinity War 2. Keep this in mind going forward. I wonder if Bob Iger is concerned about all this. After what should have been Disney's most profitable property, i.e. Lucasfilm, which is now a complete disaster, can Disney really afford to have the same thing happen to Marvel? I don't think so. And that's it for today. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, and check out my second channel, Bulls Trek Media, for videos about Blu-rays and technology. And as always, everyone, thank you for watching, and have a great day.